To everybody, thanks so much. If you're listening to this podcast for the first time, please like, subscribe, and share. If you're listening to us on a platform where you can't do that, thanks for listening. And please tell your family members, your friends. We're trying to get this out to as many people as possible. We have back on Meghan Smith Brooks. She had an amazing story last time we were on, so definitely check that out in the YouTube channel. We do have that interview up. She's going to be talking about New Year's resolutions, why we give them up, why we make them. So first of all, Meghan, thanks so much for coming back on. I'm extremely happy to have this conversation again with you because last conversation was really great.
Thank you, Rob. I appreciate you inviting me back, and I look forward to having a very interesting and dynamic conversation.
What else are you hearing when you talk to your friends, family, people in general, as far as New Year's resolutions going? Are they just saying the gym? Are they saying other things? What are they saying?
In general, that seems to be the standard. What I realize with resolutions is the root word of it is to resolve, which means to fix a problem. So we perceive that there's something that's not really working the way we want it in our life. And the New Year's resolution is we think about something we think we should be doing. And most likely we should be, but we've been putting it off. And so this was like, oh, well, and everybody expects me to, go on the diet. I'm going to finally lose that extra weight. I'm going to start working out. I'm going to be really fit for, beach season. It typically tends to be more things like that, or, I'm going to change my diet and the way I'm eating, and I'm going to get healthy. And I have to say that I read this really funny quote, and it comes from the Tao of Pooh, which is about Winnie the Pooh, and they're like Poohisms. And it got my attention. It really fit into this whole idea of resolutions. And Pooh says, my New Year's resolution is to go on a diet after New Year's Eve. Well, maybe Valentine's Day, or better yet, St. Patrick's Day, though I really do love a big Easter dinner. And so it's our mind talks us out of, I'll procrastinate, I'll put it off. How committed am I really to setting this resolution into motion and sticking with it? It feels like it's too hard. It's like I hadn't thought about a plan. I hadn't really thought about how I'm going to do it. It just sounded like a good idea.
We make these resolutions, and everybody has that procrastination, that excuse of why it didn't happen. They do it for 2 weeks and then they stop. How do we kind of I guess I should frame it this way. How do we make sure that we do stick by these, I wouldn't even say resolutions. I would say, corrections
That's a
in
good,
our life.
yeah. Well, the way that I started to rethink that and to look at what the standard concept behind what we perceive as a resolution, and that it's something that we think we should do, just like giving up something for Lent, which is also kind of coming up. And we tend to think that, okay, I'll make this change and then we'll see how it goes. But if it doesn't work out, well, I gave it a good try. And so there isn't this commitment behind it. And I think that we haven't taken the time to really think through, why would it be relevant or meaningful, or why would I benefit from making this change? And so we don't really think through a plan, or how am I going to do this and what's realistic? So that's why I shifted it to begin setting intentions instead. There's really more energy, and an intention is I'm committed to manifesting a different result. And I've thought through why this is important to me.
Do you feel like this is more about, your work ethic in general, or even how you were raised?
Well, maybe, that you look at families and the parents put the same energy behind achieving, and different siblings their lives may turn out in a different way. And so what it really comes down to, and something I've started to realize, is there is some underlying messages that we have decided or accepted through, and generally it comes from childhood, and and messages we got from our parents, and maybe good intentions that are trying to push us, but somehow we've got this message that I'm not good enough. I can't do it right. I'll never achieve anything because I'm comparing myself to this expectation that was set up, or maybe even my sibling or a good friend, and thinking that I'll never be able to achieve that. So this message is undermining then our ability to be successful in the things that we think we should be doing. And I think that it comes down to, and as a parent, I have realized that I may have given my son some inappropriate intentions out of, from good meaning, but because I cared about them, but I didn't really stop to think, well, what was meaningful to them? What do they really want? They're completely different. Maybe they needed different ways of learning things, but I didn't realize that I needed to pay attention to that. So as an adult, I get to start to rethink that. Have I picked up some kind of message in my mind that is pushing me in a way that also is sabotaging me? And until I change that, or even have to be aware of it, I'm not going to be able to achieve these goals.
What advice would you give to people that are listening that maybe struggle with commitment in general, to make sure that they can kind of achieve these good things in life? And maybe they do have, some stress in their life or commitment issues in general because of things that have happened in their life, whether it was growing up or after that. What advice would you give them to make sure that they stay on that right track toward commitment and get to achieve their goals in life?
Well, I think first of all, it's like we have to really get to know ourselves. So
Mhm.
sit, silence all the monkey mind chatter, the noise around us, and really like go deep inside and say, what's important to me? What would be meaningful to me in my life? What do I really want to be expressing, doing, feeling, achieving? Not what other people tell me I should be doing, or, comparing it to my siblings or what my parents say. It's like, what would be meaningful to me? And when I have a passion, and it's like something that's important to me, then I'm going to be more committed to it. And so then I would say, so think about an action plan, a simple step that will move in the direction of realizing what it is that I want to experience or to express or to change. And maybe I need to call in somebody that would be my partner that will help me stick with that commitment, that isn't going to fix me, but, be supportive. And at the same time, when I hear those messages that say, you're not good enough, you'll never do this, say, that's not the truth of me. I get to decide what I want to experience
Right.
and make the commitment to do it, whatever it takes.
So as we go to the end of the interview, I do want you to tease the book again. If you could just tell the viewers a little bit about the book and a little bit about your son's story and the story in general of the book.
My book is Unraveling Grief, Mother's Spiritual Journey of Healing and Discovery. And it's about my initial experience of grief when my son was murdered at the age of 29 in 2013. And Justin was a very adventurous spirit and really put his life out there. And one of the things that I share my story, my relationship, how I overcame this heart-wrenching experience of my heart being shattered a million pieces, but that we can put it back together maybe in a different way. And as we do it, realize, how can I honor the person that I'm missing, the person that I mourn? Death is something we have a hard time talking about. And ultimately, it really leads into setting intentions with how I live my life is the way I honor those that I love and admire.
And where can people find more about you, Megan, and also get the book in general?
The book is on Amazon, so it's in Kindle and paperback form. I have a website that's unravelinggrief.com, or you can email me also unravelinggrief@gmail.com. Gmail.com, and ask me about it. I do coaching to support people in resolving grief, to unravel it, to thrive, because ultimately that's our goal, is to thrive in life, no matter what happens.
Right. Megan Smith Brooks, definitely check out the book and the website, of course. We'll definitely put that in the description box. Again, thank you for your time, Megan.
Thank you, Rob.